Hi, John the van guy. A bit of a change from the Talbot Express behind me, which is now finished, looking very nice. Right, this is my Porsche to the aficionados. Problems with the camshell, getting it down and getting with the whole system. They're a common problem really, but I found one little technique for actually lining up both arms of the camshell when you're actually fixing. There's various methods on YouTube, such as you measuring distances between certain sections, but it's a right pain. Anyway, I've come across a nice approach. I just started trying different ways of actually measuring where the levers should be for the camshell, and I couldn't resist showing you. So here we go. So one of the problems with mine was that one of the dampers had actually come off, and so the camshell wasn't lowering properly on one side. So I've had it all apart in the past, so I've messed around with this before. Usually it's the plastic ends on the dampers, which is a very common thing. They tend to break. They are plastic because it's cheaper for the plastic to break than the complicated mechanism. Anyway, a quick overview first of the mechanism, and I'll show you what's involved. I'll turn on the ignition. You don't have to, you can turn on the engine if you want. I will turn on the engine, save the battery sort of running. So I'm going to press and undo the hood, and there we go. So I'm pressing that one, and the cam's coming up, and as you know with these things, it all sits and then should go back and then sit down at the back. So what was happening, it wasn't sitting down at the back, so I had to play with it. Now the way to work on these things, you've got to put it into service mode. And put it into service mode, you partly close. So I'll go on to the close one, and usually it's about a foot away. The top's about a foot away from the top of the screen. That'll do, and we can have a look at it now. Turn this off, and we can have a look at the mechanism. It's right straightforward, as these mechanisms go, I suppose. So here we have the motor itself, which is in the center, and from this motor, two leads. This is one lead there, goes to a transmission down there on the right hand side, and transmission down there on the left hand side. If you can just about see them. On the transmission you've got sort of two boomerangs, and from the boomerangs you've got two dampers. One to the camshell, really operating this arrangement, and the other damper actually going to the hood itself, and they've got to all work in unison. And one of the problems is when you put it all back together, which I have done, is getting these lined up so they're exactly going at the right level, so the camshell isn't twisted and it sits down properly. Okay, so that's all to do with the boomerangs and the level of the boomerangs as they're actually moving round. Now you can actually operate the boomerangs alternately, or individually rather, by simply taking this clip out and pulling this cable out, and it's like a rectangular cable, like a speedo cable, and you can, using an ordinary electric drill, you can actually drive the cable, and you'll find that the boomerang will move up and down, and sort of whichever way you want the thing to go. Works quite nicely, so you can do them independently. I'd be looking for that. Oh, the torch was in there. Right, okay. Now, what did I find? I was trying, the thing is getting these things level on both sides. It's not that easy. Again, I was saying there's various ways you can measure using tape measures and things, working from one ball joint to the other, but real faffy and difficult. I found an excellent way, and see, is using this. A little spirit level I found. Good idea, eh? And I found if you Now if you put it on the arm of the boomerang, so it sits on down here, you can lay it on the top there, like that, and you can actually see, you can get it into position, raising and lowering, where the bubble is between the two markings. And actually, all you've got to do, so you lie it basically on this side, you're lying it on the top arm, on there, and when the bubble is in position on both sides, then you obviously got the level you want. And sure enough, by doing that, the whole thing worked. So that's all I've got to report today. Obviously the transmission's on both sides. The electric actually goes to that transmission. If you're ever taking these apart, it's a bit of a faff, but it's all logical. You can actually work it out. And so we'll see now. This one, the one had come off, the actual piston itself, the damper itself had actually come off here. This little clip had come out, and anyway, managed to get it all in line again, and I've just got it all in line. Also, it actually damaged the rubber, but you don't actually see it when it's down or up, so I'm not too worried about that. I've used a bit of super glue to put this bit back again. I'll probably colour it to make it look a bit better, but it helps a little bit. Okay. I mean, there's plenty on the YouTube about doing all this and taking it all apart, so I won't go into that. But the main thing was this little tip. That's what I want to talk about today. So if I now close it, you can see, oh, turn it on, ignition on, and down we go, and it's going down. The cam goes down, camshell goes down. Oh, and it's lovely. Right, there you go, even both sides. So there you are, tip for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.